You might be surprised that you'll be married and then you have one slight misunderstanding and the guy has already called his mom like, "Mom, my wife just misbehaved." And you'd be like, "Did you just call your mom to tell your mom I misbehaved?" Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Okoyemi Goddess, and on this channel I talk about love, relationships, married, nursing, lifestyle, and basically everything fun. If you're new to this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. For my old subscribers, guys, thank you so much for sticking to this channel, and God bless you. Anyways guys, you can already tell from the title of this video that today I'll be talking about the questions to ask your partner before getting married. Yes guys, let's just get right into this video. The first thing that I think you need to ask whoever you want to get married to is their belief system. So you want to ask about their values, their faith, and their beliefs. And then when I'm talking about beliefs, generally ask about all forms of beliefs. You want to ask about their social belief, their moral belief, their faith, of course, the religion they follow. You want to even ask about their political belief. Guys, ask all manner of questions. You ask your partner if you guys are on the same page when it comes to faith. Do you share the same religion, and do you share the same religious values? So it is much more than sharing the same religion or following the same religion. You also need to be sure that you guys share the same religious views. So secondly guys, you want to ask what the person's deal breaker is. So a lot of us have like one or two or even more than two deal breakers in a relationship or in a marriage, and you want to know what your partner's deal breaker is. I remember during my premarital counseling, they actually asked us what the deal breaker is. Like, what is that thing that would make you want to leave your marriage or leave your spouse? What is that reason that you can actually give for asking for a divorce? And in my own situation, I remember that I said it with so much confidence and so much boldness that infidelity is my major deal breaker, and that's probably the only thing I can tolerate in marriage. Of course, with domestic violence, I can't tolerate domestic violence. Anyways, what I said that day was that infidelity was my own deal breaker. And I remember that they asked my husband the same, then my husband to be, they asked him the same question, and he was like, "There's really nothing she can do that will make me leave her." Like, I was like, for real? There's really nothing I can do. But I mean, it's just good that they asked us that question, because I actually never asked him that question. He never asked me the same question as well. So we actually never even knew that if I could leave our marriage because of infidelity. Like, he never had an idea. I never even said it to him, whether passively or even actively. So it's good that that day, they asked us a question and then we gave our honest opinions. Just ensure you ask your partner what their own deal breaker may be. You may just be thinking you know the person's deal breaker, and you'll be so surprised that what you think will be the person's deal breaker will not even be what they consider as a deal breaker. For instance, mine at that time was infidelity, and I thought he would share the same opinion with me. I thought he would also say maybe infidelity or even cheating or anything, and he said that there was really nothing I could do that would really make him leave our marriage or leave me and all that, or ask for a divorce. And I was so surprised. So you guys need to ask each other, and you just ask politely. It doesn't have to be like, "Oh, what's a deal breaker?" No, ask politely, like, "Can I ever do anything that will make you leave me? Or can I ever do anything that will make you ask for a divorce? Or can we ever get to a point that we would ask for a divorce?" Just ask this question in a very subtle manner and polite manner. Do you get? So that's one essential question that I feel. The third question you should ask your partner or whoever you're planning to get married to is children. You need to ask about kids. You really need to ask about kids, because you might just guess that, oh, he or she should want kids. Like, she should want kids or he should want kids. But you'll be so surprised to know that some people actually don't want kids. And even people that want kids want a certain number of kids. So don't just make assumptions about the number of kids, or even if the person wants kids at all. Ensure that you ask your partner if they want kids, and then the number of kids they actually want, and even the gender. People can be very funny about their choices, and you need to respect people's choices and don't just make assumptions. So ask the person you're in a committed relationship with. Ask the person, what are your thoughts about children? You have to be very subtle about all these questions. You don't just come and say, "Do you want to have kids?" No, you have to be very subtle. So you're like, "What are your thoughts about kids? Do you want kids? Do you love kids?" Just find the right avenue and the right manner to ask this kind of questions. Number 4, you need to ask about the person's finances. Yes, you need to ask about the person's finances. And I know for women, we're always very quick to ask this question, but even for men, you need to ask your girlfriend or the woman you want to get married to, you need to ask her about her finances. Don't just assume that, oh, she'll be a good manager of funds or she'll be a good manager of money. You really, really need to ask this question. And when you're asking about finances, you ask about his salary or a salary. You ask about how much the person earns. You want to know if the person has any debt. You need to know. You need to ask if the person is in any form of debt, because you don't want to go ahead and marry someone that has so much debt and has no means, of paying back that debt. So ensure that you ask if the person is in debt, and even if the person is in debt, how they plan to, pay back their debt. So ask about debt. You also need to ask about how much the person earns, and this is in no way to now say, oh, because you don't earn so much, I'm not going to get married to you. No, you're just asking this question so you'll be able to know how to plan your finances properly, how to plan your funds and all that. Also, under finances, you want to know if the person likes having a joint account. So you just ask, what are your thoughts about having a joint account? What are your thoughts about having separate accounts? What are your thoughts about having like an emergency account, an emergency family account? So guys, you should always ask about all these things when it comes to finances. You want to ask about how much they earn. You want to ask if they have any debt, if they have any property. You want to ask if they have some form of investment. You also need to ask them, so do you have any form of investment? Do you have any property? And of course, you have to ask if they have liabilities as well. So it's not just about asking about investment. You also want to ask if they have liabilities. So guys, finances is very, very essential in marriage. And please never overlook this topic. I know, especially for women, some are quick to ask, oh, how much do you earn? You want to know how much your guy earns. And I know some other women who are always like very shy to ask, so that the guy doesn't feel like, oh, you're a gold digger and all that. No, please ask, and then you should never feel bad for asking. Guys, you want to ask if the person has any health condition, and this is very, very essential, especially for people who have conditions that cannot be cured but can only be maybe managed. Do you get, like people who are asthmatic, who are diabetic, who are hypertensive, people who have reproductive issues, maybe like PCOS, like endometriosis. There's some conditions that you can really never like cure, but you can just manage adequately. So you want to know if this person lives with any health condition. This is by no means saying that you shouldn't marry someone that lives with one or two health conditions. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying this is good that you ask, so that and then you can you will be able to manage all those things properly. Health conditions, I already mentioned them, like asthma, diabetes, hypertension, HIV, hepatitis, reproductive issues, a lot of health conditions. Guys, you really need to be aware. And then you also know if this health condition might be taking a certain percentage of your funds as a family. And this is very, very very, very essential. I know a lot of people shy away from asking this kind of questions because they don't want the other person to feel so bad about it. But guys, just ask these questions. If the person truly loves you, the person will stick to you or stick with you through thick and thin, regardless of the health condition. Next question that I feel you also need to ask: short-term goals and their long-term goals. Guys, you don't want to marry someone that doesn't even have any plans for the future. You don't want to marry someone that is so nonchalant about life and affairs of life. You want to marry someone that is deliberate about their future, that someone that knows where he's going to, she knows where she's going to, she knows what she wants to achieve in the next 1 year, in the next 2 years, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, and even in the next 20 years. Some people are that detailed that they already know what they plan to achieve in the next decade. So guys, ensure you ask your partner what their short-term goals are, what their long-term goals are. If they plan to maybe further their education, they want to go for a postgraduate degree, just ask. People have a lot of plans and they don't verbalize it before marriage, and then in marriage they start saying, oh, I want to go for my master's degree, I want to go for my doctorate degree, and the person is like, we don't have enough funds to pull for this form of education. And you're like, no, I've always wanted to go for my doctorate degree. You knew that I had my master's degree before I got married, blah 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 blah. Guys, if you had talked about this before getting married, it won't even be like an issue in marriage. You understand? So it is essential. Ask them about their short-term goals and of course their long-term goals. Guys, I don't know the number we are right now. The next thing I feel you should always ask a partner before you get married is about division of labor in the house. Yes, you need to ask about division of labor in the house, like how you divide household chores. I know this may actually sound so minute, like you may be like, that's really not something serious, guys. This is very, very serious. You may think that, oh no, we'll just would work it out when we get married. No, never say you work it out when you get married. Ask these questions. Because when you get married, because you've had those assumptions, like you may think, oh, she's the wife, she should cook every time. Oh, he's the husband, he should always provide for his family. And then you're married and the guy is not providing for his family, or the woman is not cooking. Because this society already has like a preset of what a man should do and what a woman should do. And then in our own subconscious mind, we kind of think that our wife or our husband should always, fit into that preset. This is not real, guys. This is not real. I believe that people should be flexible, and as a husband or as a wife, you should be able to interchange some roles and you should be able to fit into any situation. So, guys, always ask about household chores. Who does this? Who does that? Who is going to be doing this? Who is going to be doing that? And then as a woman, ensure that you marry someone that is not so fixated on this African mindset that, oh, a woman should be the one cleaning, a woman should be the one cooking, a woman should be the one taking care of the kids. You need to marry someone that is flexible enough to, even switch roles sometimes. It should be the kind of guy that sometimes he will even tell you, babe, let me be the one cooking today. I think you need to rest, babe, let me be the one doing also just today. And just marry someone that believes in equality. Seriously, guys, this would really, 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 really help you. Ask about division of labor in the house. Guys, next thing you also need to ask about is about conflict resolution. I know a lot of people don't ask this kind of questions. They're like, when we get married, we'll sort it out. We're not even fighting now. So why should I be asking about fights, misunderstandings, quarrels, and all that? Guys, you need to ask this question because you would always fight in marriage. You should never ever believe anyone that tells you that you will never have any misunderstandings or you won't even have any reason to quarrel with each other. That's a big fat lie. There will be a lot of instances in your marriage that you have every reason, 1001 reasons to even have quarrels, to have misunderstandings, and to basically have issues with your spouse. And that is why before marriage you should always ask about conflict resolution, like, oh, so babe, when we have misunderstandings, how do we resolve our issues? How do we resolve our differences? Always ask, guys. It won't, like, you're not losing anything by asking. The worst that would happen is you might not get a definitive answer, but at least you've done your bit by asking. So always ask, like, when we have issues, when we have misunderstandings, how do we resolve it? What do we do? You might be surprised that you'll be married and then you have one slight misunderstanding and the guy has already called his mom, like, mom, my wife just misbehaved. And you'd be like, did you just call your mom to tell your mom I misbehaved? Guys, you need to ask this question. Ask about how you intend to settle your differences whenever you have any quarrel or have any misunderstandings. I know couples who don't go to bed without solving all their differences or without talking about their misunderstandings. Whatever works for different couples, that there are no like hard and fast rule about how you resolve conflicts in marriage, but just ensure that you find your own way. Every couple has their own way of settling misunderstandings. So before marriage, already ask that question. You guys can even already develop your own mechanism of conflict resolution even before getting married, and if that is what will work for you, then you should embrace it, really. So that's it. Another thing I think you need to ask before getting married is you need to ask about your partner's family members, and basically people will become your in-laws when you get married. So you want to know his relationship with his family, who are like your in-laws or your in-laws to be, or to be in-laws, whatever. Anyways, guys, ask about his family members or our family members. You want to know if they're pleasant. You want to know their likes, their dislikes. You basically just want to have an overview of what his family thinks about you, and maybe their personality, their temperament. Just ask general questions. Don't forget that by the time you get married, you will definitely become one of them. Like, you automatically become one big family once you get married. So you shouldn't be seeing them as your in-laws anymore. You should just see them as your own family. So that's why you should ask questions about them even before you get married. You want to ask your husband to be or your wife to be, oh, so what's up about mommy? What does she like? What are her dislikes and likes? How does she relate with people? We also want to know about his own relationship with his family members or our own relationship with our relatives. You want to know if they have a cordial relationship. You want to know how smooth and splendid the relationship is. I know people that they speak with their parents every day. Yes, or speak with their siblings almost every day. Imagine getting married and then you're telling the person not to call our siblings every day or not to call our parents every day. At first, it might seem so difficult. So that is why you should know all these things even before getting married. So you'll be able to manage all those things properly when you're married, guys. Never say that, oh, when you get married, we sort it out, blah, 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 blah. No, it is never, like that when you're already married. Guys, the 10th thing, I think we're on the 10th point, I believe so, that you need to ask before you get married is, I know you guys will love this, you need to ask about intimacy and sex. Yes. So for people who think, why should we talk about intimacy and sex when we're not even married already? Like, why? Aren't we meant to be keeping ourselves for marriage? I really don't want to know your own opinion about this. I feel it is a must for you to ask about intimacy and sex even before you get married. Even if you're keeping yourself for marriage, which is what you're meant to, to be doing as a godly person or as a believer or as a Christian. But regardless of that, you should always talk about intimacy and sex. You want to ask about the person's preferences. Guys, I know a lot of people who never asked this question before they got married, and then they got married only to find out that the guy or the lady likes a particular kind of sex that they don't like or they don't prefer or they see as a sin. So I belong to a page, or I belong to a group of I think it's a page. I follow a page on Instagram, and it's basically about sex in marriage and all that. And you hear stories of wives that they basically married as virgins, and even their husbands, they basically married as virgins, and they never ever knew their husband's preference or their wife's preference, and then they got married and then they're asking for a particular type of sex, and the person is saying no, 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 this is the sin, this is sinful, I'm a child of God, I can't do this, I can't do that. So that is why you should always ask before married. Don't make assumptions, guys. Never make assumptions. Always ask before you get married. So what are your preferences? You'll be shocked. Some people like what do they call this, BDSM, where they will be whipped, and then you don't like being whipped, and the person is like, you're whipping, you're actually beating me, this is domestic violence. Guys, you need to always ask questions. Some forms of sex that you may feel it is ungodly, you know and then you just never, because you never asked, you never knew, and then you're in marriage now and the person is asking for that form of sex, and you're like, what the hell is this? Like, how would you ever think of something like this? If you had asked that question, you would have probably ended the relationship when you knew that those kind of preferences don't match your faith or don't match your spiritual belief. So guys, always ensure that you ask questions related to intimacy and sex. And it's not just about the sexual preference. You want to ask about how often the person wants to have intercourse, because this is also a major thing in marriage. Like, people believe that, oh, I think it's just good when we have it once in a while. And some other people believe, no, we have to have it regularly. You need to discuss all these things before marriage, guys. Don't be surprised when you get into marriage and you're not getting what you want, or you're getting more than what you want, or you're not even getting up to what you want. So guys, I feel that those 10 things I've mentioned will be able to guide you along while you're preparing for your wedding, even before getting married at all, or even when you're in a committed relationship, you know the right questions to ask to avoid any stories when you're married. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're yet to subscribe, please subscribe to my channel, click on the notification bell so you'll always be notified whenever I put up videos on my channel. Don't forget to like this video and share my videos generally to your friends and your family members. Guys, if you have other questions that you think that anyone who is in a committed relationship should ask his or her partner, please let me know. Drop those comments in the comment section. Any question you feel that I probably didn't mention, I think it is also very, very important, please drop them in the comment section. Let us know that, the important questions to ask before getting married. Thank you so much, guys, for watching.